from the Rajas for John Cage. Good artists don't have lives anymore. Their life is reduced to telling stories that others can believe are their own. The runners passed him by while he was on his walk around Antrim Lake. Looking at the expanse of water, a smile came to his face, with a feeling of absolute joy, as he contemplated with amazement that a body could stand upright, let alone run. So Luna, her name was Karuna, and she was taking her first walk in the neighborhood. She had on an adorable little dress that floated in the summer breeze, with sweet matching sneakers. As she came to each flower along the way, she exclaimed in ecstasy, "How beautiful! So beautiful!" Looking at a leaf, she saw that thing that is alive in that leaf. The walk took an eternity. So beautiful. Yes, her companion reiterated, so wonderful. She watched the red light turn from red to green. So wonderful. So wonderful. So wonderful. So wonderful. Texted, or Heinrich Heine, the Black Planner. A man who felt like texting a friend stopped himself from doing so, took the onerous phone away, and lay down to go to sleep. He had received the Black Planner as a birthday present from a young woman who was more or less in love with, who was 40 years his junior. That night, in his happiness, he took the planner to bed with him, placed it on his chest. He fell asleep, dreaming of how he could not tell her of the 10,000 infinite ways he wanted to softly hold her, and how relieved he was that she now knew how he felt, and had not run away. Astounded, Heinrich Heine appeared at his bedroom window in the form of a cell phone or a text, as he lay, gently caressing the book, as if it were in perfect content. Such grace, he thought, for not a sexual thought did stir his lust for her, sublimated once again. Heine's text read as follows. My friend, have you forgotten where you live? Nothing outside of Canada. You must go south and change continents. There you will find the melodious shots you seek, where love is love, no matter how. I cannot tell you. could speak English. His penis was just about the only thing that was on his mind. He was fond of pulling it out any time of the day and showing it to his fellow workers, hoping they would find it of interest. This Betchefal had a capacity for lust that was unbounded, but somehow he found the time to clean the fruits and vegetables that was his job. Pinching and fondling female workers and good-looking male workers with equal relish, they would often gang up on him, threatening to cut it off with their work knives. Outnumbered, he would retreat into the cooler and wait for El Diablo, as was known for his goatee, who came from Venezuela on a banana boat and who could also not speak English. Inevitably, a huge brawl would break out, and the Sicilian manager would be called to put a stop to it, grasping the ornament by the throat, whose penis was still exposed, with the hilarity of the other workers. The manager would place a huge knife next to his neck until he pleaded for mercy, mostly in French, which the Sicilian understood. Unsuccessful in his endeavors, the ornament was often found masturbating into a cottage with the uproarious laughter of his coworkers. When the manager was asked why he put up with the Unistar, he shrugged his shoulders and muttered, "He unloads trucks day or night, 60 hours a week. In any case, the whole world is a joke." The American Fakir. A young spiritual woman who was about to become a fakir for the many ordeals she had undergone landed herself in China. When she was arrested by the police, she showed up for work at her upscale babysitting job and was charged with failure to pay the balance on her fines from the previous DUI. She came from a nice part of town and had the face of a Botticelli, beautiful inside and out. She had a complex relationship to her shadow and had undergone many sufferings in her short life, including a special boot camp in Mexico for suicides, which she survived. In fact, she came out with a countenance that was more beautiful than ever. She glowed as her aura was very strong after that experience several years. The previous summer, this young woman had spent a sojourn in France, where she witnessed a major strike by the French police when a proposal was made to eliminate their obligatory 2 glasses of wine with lunch while on the job. This wide, worldly experience of something that was considered gloriously French did not help her shadow my point, as she was handcuffed and dumped into a holding pen with 20 prostitutes who had no teeth. Immediately, the prostitutes surrounded her. Fearing for her life, she was surprised to find the girls' attitude towards her changing as they sized up the situation with street-smart cruelty, You don't belong. When she had told him about the DUI and the late fines, the girls without teeth shouted, "Yep, that'll do it." From that moment, her aura was sensed by the prostitutes, who did all they could to protect her and show her the ropes before they were moved to the cells with bunk beds. The young fakir feared she would not fall on the end of the bed while dreaming. She was under the impression she would be there for 30 days. But miraculously, her fines were paid the next day, and she was released. As it happens, she called to tell me why she was unable to keep her clean and comfy. And could I pick her up, as her leisure was revoked? As I drove along the river to pick her up, I had gathered several books on theosophy for her to read, and realized what a privilege it was for me to have known her, as I was unable to watch her development. I ruminated, would this American fakir become another Annie Besant? Right meditation. Kriya. Kronos. Proton. Gaia. Uranus. Ixia. Tammuz. Venus. Scipio. Karuna. Lakshmi. Vishnu. Atma. As light and shadow are in one, neither optimistic nor pessimistic, only aware of the surroundings, in a mindful, watchful state. Through these stories, he became thoroughly aware of the universe.